Hey, good morning. Hope you are well. Thank you so much for being here this early. I'm really excited about today's stream. We got a lot to talk about. Andong, Olivia, Chow, McDofo, healthcare, grocery rebates, federal budget, boring stuff, but stuff that we're passionate about. And then, culture war garbage as well. So thank you so much for being here. We got some video flow for the people. Take a look. Our pollinator garden. Hey, good morning, Robert. I hope you are well. Having a great start to this great day. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm still just eating breakfast. Hey, what then? Purple Mave? H said 4 megahertz? What does that mean? Megahertz. Hey, good morning. I hope you are well, having a great start to a great day. As great as a Tuesday can really be. Haven't heard it, but I can only imagine that little bit of a different pace. I used to be quite into hip hop, but I can't keep up anymore. I'm just getting old, you know? Is it good though? Should I check it out? Can be hard to listen to hardcore music first thing in the morning though. Depends. There was probably a time in my life when I did, but I'm just an old man now. I like those chill vibes. Hey, good morning or good evening, depending on where you are. Thanks for joining us, Apar. Yes, of course, I remember. What's your topic for today? Many topics. They're all like Canadian, so I don't know how to explain them quickly. Politicians, politicking. Very chill vibe. Like when the music accidentally syncs up with the video. Hi, good morning, Auntie for Squirrel. Hope you're having a great start to a great day. Yo, need to fix the audio, I think. I'm not sure, JPAR. Like fundraising? Not that I know of, but it's possible they exist. Did I change audio setting? You know, my audio any point. Love to be a bumble. Bumble your. Some days I just dream of. Oh, I'm muted. Try to change these. How about now? I just want to make it so that I can whisper and it still gets picked up, but it doesn't pick up like the sound of the washing machine or this fireplace. So hopefully it's working. But yeah, I would love to be anything other than a human some days, because bumblebees don't have to pay taxes and deal with all this earthly drama. It sounds okay now, Ribert? Thank you. I was noticing that sometimes it cuts out because I have a noise gate on to try to like filter out some of the background noises. But sometimes when I'm talking low, Jpar, you can just post in the immigration help. Jpar, if you want some help, I think you might need to offer some more specific ways in how people can help, you know? Didn't know you can noise gate. That's neat. Yeah. If you, there's a whole bunch of filters you can put on your voice. In OBS. Trying to learn about the federal budget. So boring. So boring, but so important. It's better than provincial. I think they're both coming out soon, right? I like this beat. It's low. It's really lo-fi though. Low fidelity. All right. It is almost 9 o'clock. Let's try to learn about the federal budget. It's not fun. It's not entertaining, but it's very important. It's the thing that affects all of our lives. So we can even listen to it, which saves me the trouble of trying to do anything like any like fancy reading. I'll save my voice for some other things we're going to talk about today. But this might give us a sense of what to expect from the federal budget. Here is, of course, Chrystia Freeland is the one who is tabling this. And I guess it is going to be unveiled March 28th. That's today. Let's see. Is this going to be loud? Probably going to be loud.
A preview of what Canadians can likely expect from the
Whoa. Easy, man. Easy.
2023 federal budget. This is an explainer by Samantha Edwards. Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland will unveil the 2023 federal budget on March 28th. What can we expect? Ms. Freeland has said the budget will focus on green technology, healthcare, and new spending aimed at easing cost of living concerns. The budget will also outline plans to save about $7 billion over 5 years through cuts to reduced outsourcing and federal travel, according to a senior government source.
$7 billion over 5 years through cuts to reduced outsourcing and federal travel. I guess, what does this mean? Like they're taking the fuel out of Justin Trudeau's jet?
Taken together, inflation and higher interest rates are really challenging for a lot of people, Ms. Freeland said at a pre-budget event.
Just cancel your Disney Plus.
That means that one of my government's principal responsibilities, and one of my principal responsibilities, is not to pour fuel on the flames of inflation. So fiscal responsibility is really important.
Outsourcing what? Yeah, I don't know. I guess we're not getting the full details yet. But they do outsource a lot.
Here's everything we know ahead of Tuesday's announcement. When will the 2023 federal budget be announced? Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland will deliver the 2023 federal budget in the House of Commons on March 28th at 4 p.m. ET.
4 p.m. Should we watch live? The most boring announcement of the year?
What will the federal budget cover? Clean energy technology. According to a senior government official, the budget will announce a clean manufacturing tax credit worth more than $3 billion over 5 years. Companies will be able to use the 30% tax credit to offset the cost of equipment for mining and processing critical minerals, which are in high demand as the global economy seeks to expand the use of renewable energy and electric vehicles.
Okay, so I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how I feel about this. I guess this is good. Incentive for green transition, right? That's probably good.
In a pre-budget event, Ms. Freeland said the federal government will invest aggressively in clean technology to ensure Canadian industry can compete with U.S. programs and tax breaks aimed at reducing carbon emissions. Introduced last year, the lucrative U.S. subsidies sparked widespread concern among industry associations and business groups that the spending package would leave Canadian companies at a deep disadvantage as they try to compete for capital.
So yeah, I guess one way or another, we're going to transition at the behest of the U.S. or whether it's our own investment. So I guess we might as well do it ourselves.
According to government sources, the budget is also expected to include new spending commitments to help modernize and expand the capacity of Canada's power grids, which is critical to meet future clean electricity demand. This investing could come in the form of tax credits, grants, and financing mechanisms.
Lots of stuff here, just lots of incentive for big businesses. Electricity policy. It's so hard to understand all of this. Doubles the supply of clean electricity. How old is this? I think I might have read this.
Healthcare. Ms. Freeland has said the budget will account for the federal government's recently announced 10-year plan to increase health transfers to the provinces and territories. In February, Ottawa announced $46.2 billion in new healthcare funding, with just under half of the money going toward baseline funding and the remainder earmarked for bilateral deals with individual provinces and territories.
Worried that minerals might be exploited with electric cars? Well, that is almost a fact. Good morning, Mr. B Sesh. What a buzzkill. Man, perfect. You're so funny. Good morning.
Affordability. In response to higher costs of living, the budget is expected to include billions in increased spending in areas such as dental care and direct support for low-income Canadians.
So they say they're investing in dental care, but they have yet to confirm that they are expanding the universal dental care program that they've already started for like children under 12 or whatever.
The budget is also expected to include an extension of the 6-month increase to the GST rebate, which is a quarterly direct payment for lower income Canadians. The doubling of the GST credit took effect in November and is set to expire in May.
So it's really, I'm not a huge fan of stuff like this. They're just like, hey, what if we just gave you some money back? I would rather see this money invested in things that we already need, the things that are going to increase the social safety net of Canadian society. I think, yeah, they should, of course, help lower income Canadians. I just feel like the way they do it is like they give you $100 and then like that doesn't really help anybody, even if you're low income. It's like you're turning around, giving that money right to your landlord or the grocery store, and then you're back in the exact same position you were in.
Savings on outsourcing. According to a senior government official, the budget will announce plans to save about $7 billion over 5 years through reducing outsourcing and related areas, with a particular focus on using fewer management consultant firms such as McKinsey and Company. Reports by the Globe and Mail highlighted how federal spending in this area has spiked under the Liberals, from $8.4 billion in 2015-16 to an estimated $21.4 billion this current fiscal year.
Okay, I guess obviously like outsourcing costs the government so much money. So it is much better when they're just doing these programs like in-house. However, they often find that they're incompetent and unable, they don't have the resources to do stuff like this. Like the Harper child tax was $100 a month. That wouldn't even cover one grocery bill. Yeah. Like I would rather, like you could have, what if I told you like everyone in chat could have $100 each, or we could all have $100,000. Like, and like what you could do a lot with that $100,000. You could make an impact somewhere, in some way in the world, and that's what's frustrating about this. Like they're saying, however much money this is in the GST credit, it's probably millions, if not like $1 billion, right? And then just to like dole it out, like give everyone a penny, basically. I would rather them try to create systemic change so that the people who are low income and marginalized have a better chance at improving their lives in like a systemic way.
Taxes. The budget is also expected to announce that the government will move ahead with reforms to the alternative minimum tax, which has been in place since 1986. The tax is designed to ensure that high-income earners who claim significant tax breaks still pay a minimum level of tax.
So it's going to ensure that rich people continue to pay tax. Thank goodness.
In their 2021 campaign platform, the Liberals proposed a 15% minimum tax on taxpayers in the highest tax bracket, in addition to the current AMT.
Well, did they reach it? What's the point of saying this? Tax is designed to ensure that high-income earners who claim significant tax breaks still pay their tax. Okay, that's good. Could impact your taxes. Who's reading this? That this is going to be for high-income earners. Oh God. Taxes on the wealthy here. The government has consistently introduced measures to further tax the highest income earners. The increase in the highest marginal tax rate and the new luxury tax on vehicles, boats, and planes come to mind. We could see further increases to the highest marginal tax rate or new taxes on real estate that has a value over a certain threshold. The latter may be a proxy for a wealth tax that the NDP has been advocating. Okay, I do like this. New taxes on real estate that has a value over a certain threshold. That is good. So, okay, supply and confidence agreement coming through. Given the agreement the Liberal Party has made with the NDP to garner their support until 2025, it wouldn't surprise me to see a new type of tax here. Okay, but are we going to?
Other potential items to look for in the budget. Consumer fees. The budget is expected to include plans to work with regulatory agencies to combat hidden or unexpected consumer fees, often referred to as junk fees. They can include those tacked on to the initial price of a product or service that hide and inflate the total cost.
I just want the price to be after tax. $100 wouldn't last long. Yeah, there's been amendments to the foreign home buyers ban that's getting attention. Well, not for mainstream outlets, of course, but online. Could be what we're talking about. Not sure. Sure, if you have any resources on that, Mad Perf, send them over.
Enhanced benefits and credits. Personal finance and tax columnist Tim Sesnick said he expects an increase in some benefits and tax credits, such as the Canada Workers Benefit, Old Age Security and Guaranteed Income Supplement benefits, Climate Action Incentive, and the Canada Housing Benefit. NDP dental plan expansion. Mr. Singh, the NDP leader, told the Globe last week that his party will be expecting to see cost of living support in the budget, including a previously promised expansion of a dental care program for lower-income Canadians.
Okay, can we just have universal dental care already? Like, we're expanding it to lower income. I thought it was already at. I thought it was already only for lower income Canadians, and they're not even them, but also only their children.
Mr. Singh, however, said his expectations for national pharmacare aren't turning out as he'd hoped and will likely not be a part of the March 28th budget.
Right. This was trending like last week. Okay, they have a podcast episode on it. Basically, Jagmeet Singh has given up on achieving national pharmacare through this supply and confidence agreement, which under the agreement, that is supposed to be the point where Jagmeet Singh pulls out. My goodness, look at this link. That's supposed to be the moment where Jagmeet Singh pulls out of the supply and confidence agreement, but he's not doing that either. Probably because he's kind of like pigeonholed himself. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have a choice. Oops, where did my tab go? Where did my tab go?
What is the projected federal budget deficit for 2023? The Parliamentary Budget Officer's Economic and Fiscal Outlook report projects that the deficit for the current fiscal year will be $36.5 billion, down from $90.2 billion the previous year. The PBO projects the deficit will then rise to $43.1 billion in the fiscal year that begins April 1st, before declining steadily in future years.
All right, so we're going to hear a lot of conservative whining about the deficit. The deficit, we need to balance the budget, but nobody really cares.
However, the PBO's figures show the federal government will still have a deficit of $8.7 billion in 2027-28. Ms. Freeland's fall economic update had projected a $4.5 billion surplus that year, though it also said it could be an $8.3 billion deficit under a downside scenario of weaker economic growth. What will inflation and high interest rates mean for the federal budget? Ms. Freeland has acknowledged that a slowing economy could leave the federal government with less tax revenue to spend, and emphasized the importance of being fiscally prudent. Economists expect the economy to stall or even slip into a minor recession in 2023 because of the lagging impact of the Bank of Canada's efforts to cool inflation with a series of interest rate hikes over the past year. What's the feeling from business leaders? Economists and business groups have cautioned
Yes, somebody think of the business leaders.
that Canada can't compete dollar for dollar with the billions in subsidies now on offer south of the border. A Congressional Budget Office report estimated that the measures in the Inflation Reduction Act add up to about $400 billion over 10 years. Business Council of Canada CEO Goldie Hyder told the Globe and Mail that Canada's response should be about 1/10 of the size of the U.S. package, given that Canada's population is about 1/10 that of the U.S. Economists also warn that the budget should be careful not to fuel inflation. The fiscal situation is very tight right now, said Conference Board of Canada Chief Economist Pedro Antunes. We essentially have overspent through the pandemic. We have a higher debt load. We have interest rates coming up. We have already a bunch of commitments. I think we need to keep that in mind. And certainly we don't want to spend more when inflation is on a tier.
When inflation is on a tier. It is causing us tears though, isn't it? Good morning, everyone. Thanks for starting the show with me in this very dry way. But unfortunately, these budget announcements tend to be one of the most important things that happen in Canadian politics, even though they're very, very dry. On a tier, I know, for real. It really is tear jerking, the rate of inflation. So I guess, I don't know, there's really no way for me to kind of add anything to this. We're gonna have to wait till the actual announcement at 4 o'clock today, which means we'll maybe get some analysis. We'll maybe get some analysis by tomorrow from people who actually understand these things. I guess I do hope that there is expansion of the dental care program. Even if Jagmeet Singh and the NDP have abandoned national pharmacare, I do hope that dental care becomes a universal program, even if it's a slow change. You know, you gotta kind of like take the victories that you can get. So it would be great to have dental care and national pharmacare. But at this rate, at the pace that they're moving, there's really no way that they're going to get these things by 2025. You know, like it's already a couple months into 2023. It just like, it seems like something. And some people have speculated that pharmacare is going to be an issue of the next election. So we might not really see any movement on it, and it might be something that the NDP campaigns on, saying that Justin Trudeau didn't, live up to his promise, even though it's also Jagmeet Singh's promise that he would leave this agreement if the Liberals are not living up to their promise. So it's kind of a bit of political maneuvering on everyone's part, because the Liberals know that they have enough power within this supply and confidence agreement that they can get away with not doing some things. And that's proving true because the NDP has not pulled out. And at the same time, the NDP doesn't have to push particularly hard on it, because they can campaign off it in the next election and say Justin Trudeau is bad. And
New donation from MPU the homie for real.
Yo, thank you so much, MP. You the homie for real. For real. Thank you so much. We're 35% of our way to our Ko-Fi goal of $18, which is for the weekly coffee supply. So cheers to that. Thank you so much, MP. You really are perfect and mad. And yeah, so Jagmeet Singh can basically also just campaign off of this and say, you need to vote for NDP, because that's the only way we're ever going to get national pharmacare, is if because Justin Trudeau is not going to deliver on it, so you need to vote NDP. Unfortunately, giving everyone a wad of cash works politically. Yeah, it's really weird actually, because this is kind of like a trend we've seen in recent years, where the government is just like, what if we just gave you some of your money back that you're paying in taxes? It's actually such a waste, because you have to think of like all the administrative cost that goes into all of us paying our taxes. them doing whatever with our tax money, basically laundering the money in a legal way, and then doing the administrative work of giving us our money back. It's like, we could have just kept that money in the first place and it would have cost $0. But then I don't know. It's a really weird political trend, and I absolutely hate it because it basically gets the government out of having to do things, because they're just like, well, what if we just gave you your money back instead of doing things with your money? No, we want you to do things with the money. That's why we pay taxes, is so that we don't have things like crumbling healthcare, But then it's like, well, most Canadians can't really see past that. And I mean, fair enough. $200 in your pocket feels pretty good sometimes. But you know what doesn't feel good? Like having your child in the ER and having to wait 12 hours for them to get help. And, they're short-staffed at the hospital because they got rid of the license plate stickers that would have raised over $1 billion that could have gone to literally anything. Like, we could have all just continued paying $100 a year and we would have had over $1 billion worth of fundraising for things like healthcare. On topic, if you haven't done taxes, people use Wealth Simple. It's literally free and as easy as TurboTax, maybe better. Sweet. Thank you, Mad Perfect. I have not done taxes. And I hate doing taxes, but I've set myself a deadline, which is next Tuesday. So I might get them done soon. I'm basically dedicating some time this week and weekend to finally getting it done. I don't want to be under that crunch like I do every year, where I put myself up to the date of the deadline. Okay. The license plate stickers from Ford is worse because that money was earmarked for road maintenance. The damage cars cause, and now with that money direct from car users, we need to find that money from somewhere else. Well, why don't we can just take it out of healthcare? Easy solution there. Just take it out of healthcare and education. And if you haven't noticed, I mean, at least in Peterborough, but I also drove to Toronto while Oshawa on the weekend. The roads fucking suck. Like, the roads are brutal. There's like potholes in the middle of the 401. It's like, how do you have a pothole on a highway? I don't even know. Like, you're going like 140. Okay, well, maybe 120. Let's not tell the cops how I'm driving here. And then you hit a pothole. We were lucky because we hit a pothole, I think like 2 weekends ago. And we were just like, well, shit, a pothole on the 401. And then we saw a car pulled over and they're like, oh wow, they probably got a flat tire. Luckily, we didn't get a flat tire. And then we saw another car pulled over. And they're like, okay, 2 flat tires. Probably just from that pothole. I'll file taxes late. You filed taxes late before, no big deal. Might be different if you have a complicated situation or lost to report. The main thing I have to report is all the donations you've made on Ko-Fi. Mad perfect. So thank you so much. Oh, right. This is the article you linked, by the way. Bro, that pothole is stimulating economic growth. True. Yes. Think of the tow truck drivers who have to tow you to the mechanic to fix your car, right? Boom. Support small businesses, right? Should we sue the government for roads maintenance? I think we might have a tough time doing that. Not personally how I want to spend my time. I would rather just buy a freaking sticker and put it on my car. So this is saying amendments to the prohibition on the purchase of residential property by non-Canadians Act accompanying regulations. This is drier than what we are already reading, Mad Perf. Enable more work permit holders to purchase a home to live in while working in Canada. Work permit holders are eligible if they have 183 days or more of validity remaining on their work permit. Repealing existing provision so the prohibition doesn't apply to vacant land. Top reference article. I just went to the comments. Oh, okay, there's comments. Oh. Quote, to provide greater flexibility to newcomers and businesses seeking to contribute to Canada, the Government of Canada is making important amendments to the Act's regulations. These amendments will allow newcomers to put down roots in Canada through home ownership and businesses to create jobs and build homes by applying to the housing supply in Canadian cities. These amendments strike the right balance in ensuring that housing is used to house those living in Canada rather than a speculative investment by foreign investors. I mean, this sounds like a positive, right? I mean, this is just a quote, so obviously they always sound like they're doing something good, but if this is the goal, I agree with their stated goal. Also, one thing that has been bothering me about the my microphone here is the S sounds. I wonder if there's a way to filter that on OBS as well. Sibilance. What's up, Rip Soup? You know, I could just use the pop filter that you gave me, which is like sitting like right there. Rip Soup. Rip Soup. So what do I need to do here? Rip Soup? Use the filter, or I can show you some EQ stuff. That's the thing. I don't want to use the filter. It's too much in the way. Like, I'd have to like put it like right in front of me, and it would be like in the way like 100% of the time. So you might just have to educate me one of these days. All right, I'll Google it during a time when I'm not live streaming. But also, good morning, Ripsoup. Nice to see you. Speaking of stuff that's going on in Ontario, this is really sad and pathetic that we are in the state of things where Ontario healthcare is basically being defunded. Because Doug Ford is an absolute POS, which, if you don't know, stands for point of sale. And literally anyone can just come up to Doug Ford and give him some money and get what they want. Ontario to end paid sick days program lift some COVID-19 measures in long-term care homes. As a time-limited pandemic measure, the Ontario government introduced paid COVID-19 leave, a program designed to support people who needed to take time off work to isolate or get vaccinated, the statement said. So if you don't know, the pandemic is actually still happening, and people can still get sick not only from COVID-19, but even from other things. And I think it's important for them to have sick days. I'm not sure about how you feel, but personally, I think sick days are a really good policy, because in some ways they even save money, because you're keeping the sickness that you have in your home and you're not spreading it out to all the people that you work with. But we've canceled these additional sick days here. Ontario has now achieved one of the highest vaccination rates in the world, and consistent with the sunset date for the program, it will expire effective March 31st, 2023. So this is one of those things where it's like, you heard everyone be like, oh, don't worry, the pandemic is going to be fine. We're going to build back better. And this would be one of those things that falls into that category of building back better. But since we can't have nice things, it's like, nope, actually, we're taking that away. So sucks to be an Ontarian. The news comes the day before a province is set to table its budget for this year. NDP leader Marit Stiles said her party was pushing for 10 guaranteed paid sick days for all Ontarians, plus an additional 14 government-funded paid sick days during a public health emergency. This government is no friend of Ontario workers, Stiles wrote in a statement. Nobody in Ontario should have to go to work or leave a sick child because they can't afford not to. And that is the sad truth, is that if you don't have sick days, if you have to choose between making money or taking time off to be sick, you're probably going to end up rallying, just like hopping yourself up on some Dayquil or whatever and getting your ass to work. Because what are you going to do? Not feed your children? Not feed yourself? Under the program, employers are reimbursed by the government for the paid leave days. Eligible workers can receive up to $200 per day for up to 3 days for pandemic-related absences like testing, vaccination, isolation, or caring for relatives who are ill with COVID-19. Ontario's Labour Minister said this week that the program has served more than 500,000 workers. And what's going to happen to the 500,000 people who have already accessed this, or rather the people who are going to continue to need to access this in the future? It's not like suddenly all the people accessing this are not going to need this anymore in their lives. So we're basically just saying, sorry, screw you, get to work. I don't care if you're sick. In a separate announcement, the province announced it will also start lifting some COVID-19 restrictions in long-term care homes at the end of the month. Brutal. This is actually one of the things that kind of like really just like pisses me off. Starting March 31st, homes will no longer need to test staff, caregivers, and visitors who don't show symptoms of COVID-19. Recommend staff, caregivers, and visitors wear a mask outdoors unless staff are close to a resident. Perform daily temperature checks or screening of residents returning to a home. Now, this is something that is just like, you know how easy it is to check a temperature? Like, why would you stop doing this? It's wild. Like, when I was in the hospital, they would take my temperature every time I sat down in a chair, because that's just like standard protocol even before COVID-19. So, like, they're no longer required to do this? That's shocking. Keep the limit of one caregiver at a time during a COVID-19 outbreak or when a resident is symptomatic or isolating. This is really concerning. This is like, even when they know there's COVID, they're saying you don't have to follow any rules. Like, even when everybody knows that someone in a long-term care home has COVID, they won't have to. They're like, hey, everyone go say hi. Don't worry. And by the way, you don't have to like take any other precautions or even take their temperature, but we know they have COVID. Okay. And then what happens if like some of these nurses get sick too? Like they don't have sick days. Oh my god, this is just like a crisis. Like what they're just like, what if we made things worse than they already are? Oh my goodness. Adjust physical and social activities to include physical distancing. I mean, like, let's face it, come on. Like the old people in old folks' home, they probably don't care that much about this anyways. Even with a COVID outbreak, wow, people will die. Yeah, I know. They're basically like what if we just let people suffer and die? Provincial data shows that 5,335 nursing home residents have died from COVID-19 since the pandemic hit Ontario in early 2020. 13 long-term care home healthcare workers have also died over that time frame. And I mean, you think being a healthcare worker, you might want to access some of those sick days that were taken as a pandemic measure. The sad part is too that the pandemic it's raging on in early 2023, we saw the highest rates of infection that we've ever seen throughout the entire pandemic. And a lot of people like are cheering this on like idiots, saying that we've achieved some sort of herd immunity. But newsflash, COVID-19 actually weakens your immune system. So the more times you get it, the weaker your immune system gets, and the more likely you are to get it again, and the more likely you are to get long COVID. We've probably all heard of a friend who like got COVID and like, oh, the first time it was just a cold. The second time it was like still like just a cold, but it wasn't so bad. But the third time it was like, oh man, that was like the worst I've ever felt. And it didn't go away for like a month. You know, like how many anecdotes do you hear like that? 13 long-term care workers might still be alive with increased sick days. Yes, exactly, Ribert. You know, and in addition to this just being horrible because like this man doesn't give a fuck about any of us and our families, it's also just like an anti-worker sentiment that only an evil conservative supervillain can possess. And there's more. Ontario extended medical care coverage to uninsured patients during pandemic, but bum, that's ending. So basically, we had universal healthcare for a very brief period of time. You know, universal healthcare in so much as we in Canada can ever have it in our current neoliberal state. But in this sense, it was extended to migrant workers and people on work permits. And let's say you were crossing the road at Roxham Road in Quebec and you needed to access healthcare during the pandemic. Well, at least in Ontario, you could access that care even if you were undocumented. However, that's ending because we only care about public health and migrants in so much as it might affect well-to-do rich white people in Toronto. So Rose Celeste of Toronto says she spent years avoiding a visit to the doctor. As an undocumented migrant worker from the Philippines, she feared something as simple as a checkup could lead to a run-in with the law and jeopardize her life in Canada. But when the COVID-19 pandemic hit 3 years ago, that changed. The province directed hospitals to temporarily provide medical necessary care to patients without coverage while it reimbursed them for the expense, something that led Celeste, 61, to discover and then treat her thyroid cancer. Yes, it turns out that going to get checked by a doctor is actually a good thing, and it's something that actually strengthens healthcare across the board. We shouldn't just think that healthcare is for rich people, but we know that this government is doing that. They're trying to privatize. They're trying to section off people from accessing healthcare. And this is one of those moves. Without the program, she estimates she'd be thousands of dollars in the red, trying to pay for health care herself, or worse, dead. For migrant workers like me, this is very important and this is very crucial, said Celeste, an active member of the migrant workers movement in Canada. My God, you can just imagine how happy I am. So she genuinely thinks that she would probably be dead if not for the COVID-19 pandemic. This woman would not have been able to access healthcare in Canada. Something that we constantly brag about being a universal healthcare program that's so much better than the United States of America. And it's like, no, it's not. It's trash. Let's fix it, not defund it. Despite this, the province confirmed it's winding down this program, citing similar reasons in line with its recent move to end its paid sick days. Now this is, where did it go? I had it. I lost it. Okay, yes. So this went out in an email on Friday afternoon, which if you're unaware, that's when the time governments choose to deliver shitty bad news. So this went out in an email and it just said like, "Hey, just so you know, the Ontario Medical Association is sad to let you know that the Ministry of Health, aka the Ford government, is winding down this program for uninsured people to access healthcare. Really shitty, really sad. And this person, Lorraine Lamb, is saying that this is going to affect new immigrants, those with expired OHIP, migrant workers, foreign visas, students, those waiting for humanitarian claims and sponsorship, and returning Canadian citizens. And it's just so stupid. It's frustrating. In a statement, the network called the ministry's plan to end the program devastating. If you have to choose between feeding your family and treating an infection, those are not real choices. People will choose to feed their families and they will suffer, the network wrote. We know how the story ends. It's not good for patients, for families, and not the healthcare system. This program needs to be made permanent. Now, this is coming from the network here. I believe it's this network, OMA. Or a similar network. Okay, the Health Network for Uninsured Clients. I usually try to highlight this stuff in orange so I can go back and find it. Of which this Dr. Edward Shi is a member of. So, very young, handsome Asian doctor. And he was one of those professionals polled. Before the program came into place, he recalls watching patients forced to choose between paying for healthcare that they need and the bills that they have to pay, and sometimes leaving the hospital untreated because of it. To extend healthcare to uninsured Ontarians and then take it away is something she calls terrible. And that's what's most disappointing about this. It's hey, one good thing came out of the pandemic. We actually were able to extend healthcare to people who were not able to access it previously. And then what if in Doug Ford's evil mansion that his underground lair or whatever, wherever supervillains live, he's what if we pulled the rug out from under those people? And not only that, but we're going to do it on March 31st, which is 4 days away. So you basically only had 1 week in order to consider that you might need to access healthcare for the last time. That's evil shit, man. For the last 3 years, we've actually had a universal healthcare system in Ontario. I mean, this is truer under this, but it's not entirely true. Where if you're living or working or studying here, you can actually just walk in and get essential healthcare, he said. Imagine living in a country where you can just walk in and get essential healthcare. Isn't that what Canada is constantly bragging about every time somebody gets a $100,000 bill in the US? We're oh, well, that would never happen in Canada. It's yeah, because people aren't even allowed to access care in the first place. But until something can be done for the long term to help improve care for this group of people, OMA says that it's asking the ministry to extend the program. And we really hope, that is something that can happen. This basically needs to be stopped. NDP health critic France Gelenas called the move against the small program cruel and inhumane. Ford and Conservatives are turning their backs on some of the most vulnerable people in Ontario, she said, referring to Premier Doug Ford. The Ontario NDP won't stop until this decision is reversed because healthcare is a basic human right. It seems so obvious. A permanent program of healthcare coverage for uninsured people living in Ontario. It happens to be both a smart thing to do and the right thing to do. And that is what is so frustrating about these things. It's actually, it's good. It's good for all of us that everyone living in Ontario, our neighbors, the people we work with, our families, it's good for all of us if they can access good quality healthcare. So I love this line here because it is the smart thing to do. It is the right thing to do because if our family members die, we take time off work, right? If our family members are sick and they can't access care, who's going to have to care for them? We are. Which in the long run, to think of it even in purely economic terms, which is disgusting, yes, because we should be thinking of this in humanist terms. But even to think of it in purely economic terms, it's the right thing to do. Get people healthcare. Right? It seems so obvious. But we're not doing it. Because of McDofo being a POS. The conservatives are getting rid of something good. They did. I know. Like, yeah, imagine. This would be something to campaign on. Right? Like, if there's the next election, they'd be like, oh, well, they say we don't care about healthcare, but we did this and this. And they're like, well, actually, we undid both of the good things we did. We actually, it was against our conservative ideology, so we had to undo them. I feel like I'm getting better at going on these rants. not to toot my own horn or anything, but I feel like I'm improving, you know, which is my goal, obviously. Just making content. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this fabulous Tuesday morning. I'm so excited for spring. Hey, what's up, Rabbit Ribbit Lamb? Rabbit Ribbit. We got still so much to talk about today because I've done the good thing again and I've planned out the show. In a perfect world, you know, I would have enough YouTube money coming in because I'm getting thousands and thousands of views that I could like hire someone to help me do the editing and like the thumbnails so that I could focus on just like educating myself and planning out the content. It really is like feeling the more and more I try to do it well, it feels like a full-time job, which I would love if I could, you know, not have to work other jobs and just be a streamer and a content creator, but not quite there yet. I'll just, you know, just work in several other jobs, no big deal. Good morning. Yo, Good morning, another rainy day in Lo-Fi land. I don't really know if I'll make 100 grand off the YouTube money, but I'll still take a stand politically because I got the abilities. The name is DT, the erroneous monk, and I'm number one with the flow, number one with the funk. Got the news and you didn't even redeem the points. I just get to it quick. I have to anoint myself as the greatest Canadian streamer, even though I'm really just a dreamer. Can I just take a moment and say fuck you to Andrew Beamer? That's my city councilor that I didn't elect. But if you got a neck, well, you better protect, because Wu-Tang is not just for the children. And matter of fact, I know that we're taking it to City Hall, that's the building. And this is the movement that we're building. Thank you for being here so early on this spring morning. It's only Tuesday, and we got no warning with these red skies. A sailor's delight. I don't know what I'm saying. I just got these random ideas in my mind, and I have to recite these rhymes off the top of my head. I hope I get it right. And my name is your homie Tutaro, and I have to flow into tomorrow. Got the elevation like Mount Kilimanjaro, and I just have to take it to a place without sorrow. I don't know what I'm saying, but thank you for listening to this ridiculousness. Now I'm feeling shy. All right. I don't know why. I was just feeling that beat. So I just, had to go off for a moment. We have some potentially good news, depending on how you feel about a certain politician. A certain politician who has not found very much success in their life, but I think that they are very progressive, and I do believe, until I hear otherwise, that I will be rooting for them in the upcoming mayoral election. This is obviously talking about Toronto. Olivia Chow has confirmed that she's running for mayor. So wait. Sorry. Olivia Chow confirms she's considering mayoral run. So this is like what? An announcement for an announcement? And of course, Toronto Star. Oh, they're going to let me read this? That's great. However, I've already got it here on archive, which is I thought I went through this already and highlighted it. Maybe archive doesn't save my highlights. But Olivia Chow, who is the former partner of Jack Layton, R.I.P. Jack Layton was the leader of the federal NDP for a long time, and Olivia Chow has had a similar life, in politics, I believe, at almost every level of government. I know they have run municipally to be the mayor of Toronto before, and unfortunately they lost. Now they did lose to John Tory, I believe, and they lost, and it was John Tory in first, Doug Ford in second, and Olivia Chow in third. However, recent polls have showed that Olivia Chow might be one of the top contenders for the mayor of Toronto, she's about neck and neck with that other guy, I don't know, the former chief of police. So obviously, if I had to, do a coin flip, I would much prefer Olivia Chow to be the victor over the chief of police. Part of my concern is that there might be some xenophobia here. Olivia Chow is somebody who is of Chinese ancestry, and they speak Mandarin and Cantonese, I believe, which, to me, I think, hey, that's great to have a woman of color in a position of power. And she's also progressive, and I hope that she wins. I want to let you know I'm considering running. I love this city, and I know it can be so much better for everyone, wrote Chow, would become one of the highest profile candidates in the forming crowded race to replace John Tory. Now, it is a crowded race, but it's not really a race full of people with plenty of name recognition. So I think actually Olivia Chow would have a really, really great shot at winning. In a story published last Wednesday, sources close to Chow said advisors were urging her to run, given that other potential NDP-aligned candidates, including former councillors Joe Cressy and Mike Layton, had declined overtures. Now, is Mike Layton, is he related to Jack Layton? Toronto Star, why are you so trash? Like, I just want to read. I just want to read more of your articles, and you just don't let me. Like, it's so stupid. Amid what promises to be a host of centrist and right-leaning candidates splitting that vote, Chow could target her message to progressives and potentially win with 30% or less citywide support, one political organizer said. There is a relationship. Thank you, Ribert. Other progressives expected to run with a goal of ending 12 years of right-leaning rule at City Hall included urbanist Gil Penalosa, I guess. He's definitely a liberal. I don't know how progressive he is. Who finished a distant second to Tory in last October's civic election, and Councillor Josh Matlow. Now, I've heard that Matlow is a progressive, although I heard that he's not maybe the most savvy when it comes to playing politics. So Olivia Chow will definitely be preferable over these two candidates, I think. While Chow herself did not respond to an interview request, some of the people encouraging her to run did agree to speak on the record. Ko-Fi? What? Ko-Fi? All right. This is a reminder to, support us on Ko-Fi. Sometimes the Lord just gives you signs. Ko-Fi Hope. It's probably Kofi. Chief executive of strategic advisory firm Monumental Projects and an adjunct professor at University of Toronto School of Geographic and Planning, helped Chow's 2014 mayoral bid that ended in third place to Tory and now Premier Doug Ford. So what a world we could have lived in if maybe we had Olivia Chow instead of John Tory in this like very conservative run province and city. Her response to that campaign, which didn't meet expectations, was to get into the grassroots and form Institute for Change Leaders, a nonprofit that had trained activists in political organizing since 2016. That's nice. It's the real deal with Olivia. She didn't just kind of go off to sip champagne with elites. She's been on the ground with working class people and with racialized folks, with indigenous folks, with folks who are really struggling and helping them to organize themselves to take back power. As to the prospect of Chow working with Ford, a progressive conservative, if she runs and wins, Hope noted Ford's close working relationship with Liberal Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland. I think some of that tension could lead to interesting solutions for the city, said Hope, who writes freelance columns for The Star. I love how this is like a concern for people. It's like, well, but if you're not a conservative, how will you get along with Doug Ford? I don't want somebody who's getting along with Doug Ford. like isn't the whole point is to have different levels of government work together no matter what their political leanings are? I would love to see a federal liberal and a Ontario conservative and a Toronto NDP candidate. That's, to me, those three levels of different political affiliations working together, that is an ideal scenario. I mean, kind of a lesser of many evils. Obviously, I would prefer probably NDP at all of those levels. But I just want people to work together. JP Hornick, president of the Ontario Public Service Employees Union, said Toronto needs a new mayor with municipal experience who can restore deteriorating services with a vision for what Toronto can be. And I genuinely think that Olivia Chow is that person. Based on what they ran on in their previous mayoral race, which is like helping transit, really strong policies about like education and thinking about children. I think that is what Toronto needs to kind of like reinvigorate the city. Hornick, who moved to the Eglinton Avenue and Jane Street area after yada yada yada, said Chow's working with activists across the city could help her as mayor, bringing a vision of how to build Toronto through the suburbs from the downtown. And yeah, I think downtown lefty. While some may see Chow as a downtown lefty, since leaving politics, she has been able to expand who she is and really walk her values through work with the Institute, Hornick said. I think she has a lot to offer those of us not living in the downtown core. I don't think that she's siloed herself. If she runs, some of her policies might overlap with those of Matlow and Liberal MPP Mitzi Hunter. My guess is that if Olivia Chow runs, Matlow will probably drop out of the race and endorse Olivia Chow. If not immediately, then like he will be forced to anyways. That includes her ability to collaborate across political lines to forge consensus. Honestly, this is really promising. I really just hope she like announces like with her full chest, you know? People can register as a candidate in the June 26th by-election between April 3rd and May 12th. All right, so there's okay, so this is why it's an announcement for an announcement, because you can't register until April 3rd. So, good to know. Hey, what's up, DNA Rigged? Those who have committed to running include Matlow, yada yada yada, Anna Baulao, former police chief Mark Sanders. So this is basically the main competition. Mark Sanders, you know, who is not a progressive, in case you can't tell by the police uniform. And he's also someone who was, let's say, twiddling his thumbs during the serial killer who was targeting gay people in Toronto. All like the entire gay community was like, hey, police, can you help us? Can you do something about this? We're being targeted and there's like a serial killer on the loose. And Mark Sanders was basically just like, it might be a problem, but we're not sure. And it turned out to be true. And like so Mark Sanders, horrible choice. I think conservatives will probably rally around him because they're conservatives. So I don't know. To me, it's if Olivia Chow runs, it's going to be a race between Olivia and Mark here. He ran for the conservatives. Yeah. He's already tried to spark a career as a politician because, I don't know, obviously he has a lust for power, as most chief of police probably do. So those who have said they are considering candidacy include Hunter and city councilors Bradford. So honestly, if Olivia Chow and Mark Sanders run, I guess we might see who announces as a result of like knowing that Olivia Chow and Mark Sanders are the front runner. We might see some changes in some of the lesser known candidates who have said that they are going to run. They might not run, because I mean, why would you waste so much resources? The concerning thing about Mark Sanders too is that he has a really strong team around him. So I don't really see anyone other than Olivia Chow on this list who could potentially form as strong of a team, right? And at the end of the day, it kind of is about just like how marketable you are. So if you have a strong team around you, you're going to have more success campaigning. And I don't see anyone else in this field who is going to be successful in becoming mayor of Toronto other than Olivia Chow or Mark Sanders. And we have to stop Mark Sanders from being mayor of Toronto. We can't, like, we're basically on a supervillain arc for the mayor of Toronto. Like, Rob Ford, you know, crackpot Sally smoking crack in the alley. He's like a supervillain. And then we had John Tory, who like cheated on his disabled wife during the pandemic. And like, can we, like, the logical, like, if this was Batman, right? The logical conclusion would be like, we need to elect Mark Sanders to be the new supervillain of Toronto. But can we just not? Can we just not continue this trend of like choosing like the worst people, the worst conservatives, you know? So Olivia Chow, progressive, woman of color. This is our best chance, Toronto. Let's please just make it happen. I will move to Toronto if Olivia Chow is the mayor. You know, I I'll pay $5,000 a month for a single bedroom apartment if Olivia Chow is the mayor. That is how committed I am to seeing her be the mayor of Toronto. Chat, how you feeling?
That means I can lie here and relax while my strength comes back to me.
Yo, DNA rigged. Thank you so much for subscribing for the second month in a row. I really appreciate that. I love the little burger dancing emoji too. John Tory does not support unhoused people. Well, John Tory is dead to me. All right? And soon he will be replaced in chat with Olivia Chow. Or we could get more subscribers and unlock new emote slots so that we can keep him around to continue to laugh at him for all of his days. I hope everyone is having a great day today to get some fresh air like a straightaway. Have you seen these new changes that Elon Musk wants to make to Twitter? Blue checkmark life? Yeah, for sure. What changes? Okay, let's take a look. So, Elon, conservative golden boy, self-made man, whose only claim to fame, the only help he got from his family was that they owned an emerald mine in South Africa, where they were able to exploit the labor of African people and, also exploit the land for creating beautiful, beautiful gems. AKA Hank Scorpio. Yeah, for real. So he wants to make these changes to Twitter starting April 15th, which is like 2 weeks away. Only verified accounts will be eligible to be in For You recommendations. This is the only realistic way to address advanced AI bot swarms taking over, which is also not a problem. The problem that people are having right now is that there's blue checkmark accounts everywhere, and the blue checkmark accounts are the bots. Because you can sign up, you can create a bot, sign it up for Twitter Blue. There's no verification process, and you get a blue checkmark because you're just paying. So if you were, let's say, wanted to run a crypto scam, you could use a bot to do that and pay $8 a month in order to run your scam, which might make you thousands of dollars a month. It is otherwise a hopeless losing battle. I mean, the real hopeless losing battle, unfortunately, is the one that we are fighting against Elon Musk and his control over Twitter. Honestly, we need to start passing laws that rich people, billionaires, are not allowed to buy social media sites. We talk about the town hall. Elon Musk always is talking about, well, Twitter is the town hall. We need freedom of speech in the town hall. No, a billionaire owning the town hall is not freedom of speech. You know who's supposed to own town hall? The town. And then it's supposed to be something that we own, the people, or the government of the people, right? But then, of course, conservatives would be like, but isn't that socialism? It's like, you're fucking goddamn right it is. But you have to pay to have a blue check mark. What's the point of Twitter? There's no point. There's no point in Twitter anymore. Voting in polls will require verification for the same reason. Okay, yeah, so we're not even allowed to vote in polls. So this, you know why? You know why? It's because Elon Musk ran that one poll where he's like, should I step down as the CEO of Twitter? And guess who won? The people voting yes. And he was so butthurt about that. Like, he couldn't just take an L. You know, he's like,
Got to try and take it easy till I get back to normal.
Yes, of course it is. What are your pronouns, Ali? What if you have a poll? You're not going to be able to run a poll as someone without a check mark. That's the other sad thing. So Elon Musk, what a fool. I mean, this is a safe space for trans people, but unfortunately, Twitter, the way it's going, is not going to be a safe space for trans people. With Chief Twit Elon Musk here, actively trying to make it less and less safe. So yeah, it's really just pathetic to see micro penis Elon Musk being like, I can't believe I lost the Twitter poll once. You know who would vote in favor of my staying on as CEO of Twitter? Everyone who pays me $8 a month. She's, her, hers, herself, her own, her real self, and more. Wow. There's some of those aren't pronouns, but we'll give it to you. Twitter is not safe. I read what was posted by Ben Shapiro. Yes, I know. Like, they allow like open calls for genocide on Twitter, but they're like, we need to protect ourselves from AI bot swarms taking over. You know what really sucks is that. So this is Twitter, obviously. Please don't show me porno like right off the bat, because I'm live right now. So what they want is you have this following tab, which is basically like how Twitter used to be. It's like you get to see the stuff from everyone you follow. You still get too much, in my opinion. I wish you could turn off retweets. Like, you can go to everyone's individual profile and turn off retweets. But I wish you could just turn off like all retweets from all followers. Like, I mostly just want to see the content from the people that I see. I guess retweets is how you discover cool and new people if your followers are cool. But what they're saying is that this tab, the For You tab, is only going to be recommended people with blue check marks. Like, here I have I'm recommended this by Colin Chepica because I like Colin and their tweets. And they're probably talking about something progressive and social justice oriented. But in the future, as of April 15th, if Elon Musk has his way, we're only going to get crappy blue verified check marks who, just so we know, are not necessarily real people. They might be real bots. So there's really actually no point to going through For You anymore. Actually, it's gonna be funny because you're gonna be able to go through For You and you're gonna be able to just like block everyone with a blue check mark. It's like, yeah, like, if you block 10 blue check marks a day, eventually you'll have an excellent Twitter experience. Hopefully I'm rich enough to buy Twitter one day so you can ban transphobia. True. Same here, but I don't think, I mean, Elon Musk bought it for whatever, $40 billion or whatever. Like, he got completely ripped off. So I feel like he's a petulant child and he will never part ways with Twitter because he spent so much money on it. So he's going to spend the rest of his life soy boying over it and trying to figure out how he can make his money back. And it's going to be really entertaining in some sense to see, but also really sad, because as much as I call Twitter a hellscape, and as much as it is a place where kind of like the worst kind of discourse happens, I really like Twitter, and I really like the format of like micro blogging and being able to just like post really short form thoughts. It could be better. I wish it would improve in a way that makes the platform better, but unfortunately that is not going to be the case under Elon Musk. he's a narcissist, so he'll never tire of that attention. Yeah, exactly. Like imagine spending whatever $40 billion and you're like, well, at least I can stroke my own ego. Um, you know? And I think there are a lot of ways you probably could monetize Twitter, none of which should involve making the user experience worse. You're going to need users. That's the thing that makes Twitter valuable. It's not users paying, it's actually just the quantity of users. So if you're pushing people away by saying, hey, this is actually only for people who are paying $8 a month, people are eventually going to go elsewhere. You like trolling, mostly Dave Smith? True. Narcissist of the highest kind? Yes. And he's not even cool. He's not even like the cool kind of high that he used to be when he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, when everyone's like, oh my God, I can't believe Elon Musk smoked weed like a loser. Okay, I'm just kidding. Smoking weed is still cool, but Elon Musk made it less cool. I know the whole issue with transphobia is because he literally won't censor people for hate speech. Like, how can you not? Yeah, and I mean, that is like one thing that is actually a breach of the terms of service of like Apple, like being even on like the Apple App Store. Is like you have to moderate your social media site so that people are not organizing to commit genocide against each other. Like, it seems like a pretty good idea, right? To make sure that people aren't using hate speech on your app, because you know what that does? It encourages more people to use the app as opposed to feeling unsafe, right? So that's why Twitter had all of these things in place in the first place. It wasn't, let's be clear, it wasn't because they were like woke leftists. That's not why you moderate your content on your social media site. You moderate your content because you're a capitalist and you want to make more money. And that's what is so funny about Elon, because he's supposed to be this like amazing self-made businessman, and he made one of the most historically bad deals in the history of business. And as a result of that, he's run it into the ground, and now he's trying to pick up the pieces in ways that make the user experience like much, much worse. Started using Twitter right before Elon bought it, just so I could get a glimpse of how it used to be. Why is Apple not taking action? So I think they have begun to charge more money or something. I don't know. I think something about the Apple Store, I forget. Or it got like, I don't know. It might get taken off the Apple Store. I forget. I don't know. Facebook is so brutal for that too. Yeah. There's no safe space on the internet, sadly, except for obviously my homie Tutaro on Twitch. And it essentially does come down to that though. It's like people essentially need to create their own spaces that have their own moderators that are able to keep the community safe. And maybe that is just the reality of having an online community, is that there's going to be essentially like gladiator pits full of people just like doing horrible things, and it's going to be a free for all on places like Twitter. But it's up to us. Like, we could make our own Twitter circle even. And maybe that's an idea worth exploring. Although eventually I feel like that feature will be put behind a paywall, and in order to create a safe community, we're going to have to pay like $8 a month or whatever. TikTok is bad. That's the thing. Everything is bad, right? And yeah, thank you to our mods like Anti-Fur Squirrel and Ribbert and Rip Soup and Higsby and Angel Riot for keeping this a safe space. Like it is actually a good reminder that keeping a safe space is something that you have to actively engage in. And no space is technically safe, right? Like, it's like somebody could come in at any moment and drop a bunch of slurs, right? And so you can never guarantee safety, but it's about creating a safer space, or as safe a space as possible, right? So something I was super engaged with when I was a member of the Peterborough Poetry Slam, because the Poetry Slam is a place where people come to express their trauma, right? And it's really important that that be a safe space for the poets and also the people who are potentially triggered by the poetry, because of course when you're unleashing your trauma, you know, a lot of people can be affected by that. So it's kind of like something I've always had to grapple with, or not always, but like for a long time I've tried to grapple with this, like what constitutes a safe space, and what makes it safer, you know? So I do feel like so far, because we have a small community, it's been easy to keep the space safe. But also we kind of have to assume that there's probably somebody here even right now who is watching in bad faith, and there's almost definitely people in our Discord who are not aligned with us, right? Like they just don't say anything. They're just watching. They probably could take screenshots and send it around, you know, like, so we do have to remember that whether it's, you know, CSIS, because of the things that I've said online about Canada and CSIS themselves acting in really bad faith, or people who are ideologically opposed to us, they've probably already infiltrated our social media network, right? Because I mean, it's really hard to balance having a safe space, having an open space where anyone like Alyssa0293 might want to pop in and say, "Hey, is this a space for me?" And we all say, "Yes, it is." You know, because you need to have a bit of an open door policy. But at the same time, there are probably people who have walked through that door who we are not aligned with. So it's important to like continue to be skeptical as well, and but also be open, because that's really, it's the only way we're going to be able to build a movement. So we try. It's a millennial thing. I'm all for. I've known club owners here who have worked hard to achieve. Yeah, it's really hard. And even the progressive spaces in town where I live, you know, like they always have trouble. Like, you know, whether it's like an employee that they hired and have to let go, or somebody who's like a prominent member of the community who frequents that place, you know, like it's like, that's why it's active, right? You have to actively create a safe space, and you have to be vigilant and be very principled. I think you can't let things slide because, oh, but that they're my friend, you know, that doesn't help anyone create a safe space. So speaking of things that we should be talking about in terms of CSIS, Han Dong has come out with an announcement saying that he is going to seek legal action against Global News. So Han Dong coming here yesterday at 10:33 a.m. on Twitter. This has 2 million views. My goodness. Good for him. March 27th, 2023. Yes, I am taking legal action against Global News and the Chorus Entertainment. Chorus Entertainment. I have retained a lawyer to begin legal action to its fullest extent. My father arrived in Canada in August 1989, 2 months after Tiananmen Square. In 1970, my father was sent to the May 7th Cadre School re-education camp during the Cultural Revolution and subjected to forced labor and 24-hour surveillance for almost an entire year. From that experience, my father knew there was no future left for him in China. As a result, in 1990, my father brought me, my sister, and my mother to Canada to begin a new life. The trauma left on my father is one of the compelling reasons why, as a co-chair of the Canada-China Legislative Association and a member of parliament, I took every available opportunity to advocate on behalf of Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor and to call for their immediate release. It is inconceivable that I would ever suggest a falsely accused individual should spend an extra minute in jail. Canada has given my family the opportunity to succeed. Despite the abuse and shame my family has suffered over the last few weeks, I truly believe that my parents made the right decision to come to Canada. I don't know if Canada is like a different size font at the bottom. Wait, I need to inspect this now. My design self is like, what? Why? Is this like a bold font? Is this a bold, or is this like they put it up to like 14? I'm not sure. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I voted in support of a public inquiry on foreign interference to demonstrate to my family, colleagues, and constituents that I have nothing to hide, and to remind my false accusers and global news that the truth will always come out in the end. I support the mandate of the independent special rapporteur, the Right Honorable David Johnston, and I am willing to meet with him and provide any information that he requests. As I stated in my speech to my family in the House of Commons, the truth will protect us. Our honor and our family will get through this together. I can look at myself in the mirror and know with full certainty that I have the truth on my side. My anonymous false accusers and their enablers cannot say the same. Han Dong, MP, Don Valley North. All right, so we actually are getting some full context on this. It's really exciting to see Han Dong take action, because like this is essentially taking action towards justice. Global news is in the wrong here, and the person, what's his name on Twitter, is Scooper Hooper. Scooper Hooper. I don't know. Anyways, the reporter who leaked all this. I guess I don't know. I guess I don't know their name after all. But they are, I think, in the wrong here. And some people are saying that it might have come down to even a mistranslation, because the word delay sounds close to the word like immediately or something. And just like imagine that, like CSIS has made a mistranslation. Okay, yeah, so here's Sam Cooper. Scooper Cooper. Okay, my bad. That's why I wasn't getting the results here. So I'm sure this guy is sweating right now. I mean, they probably have libel insurance. I know that that's something that even like the Arthur newspaper has, and I should probably look into getting to as well. But you can get libel insurance. So they will probably be covered by this to a certain extent. However, I think this is something that will damage their reputation beyond belief. You know, like Sam Cooper, if this lawsuit goes through and they are successful in proving that these allegations were false, Sam Cooper, like, gone, like no longer a trustworthy journalist by any means. And Global News also, just like every time Global News posts like a potentially controversial article, people are going to screenshot this and be like, hey, remember that time when you lost the lawsuit because you were printing fake news? You know? So we genuinely are kind of like rooting, of course, for the truth to come out. But I have a feeling, because everything kind of does not add up in this article by Sam Cooper. So, like, for one of the most important things, how would this benefit the conservatives? How would delaying the release of the two Michaels benefit the conservatives? Nobody can answer that, right? So, like, even Sam Cooper, who's running with the story, can't answer that. You're done with Global and you have friends working there. I mean, well, of course, like, we care about the people who work there, and, you know, we want them to stay employed, and it sucks. But maybe they will find other opportunities. So this is the official article here. Toronto MP Han Dong says he is taking legal action over a media report that alleged he spoke to a Chinese diplomat in February. Global News reported this month that Dong told the Chinese consul general to Toronto that keeping Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor in prison would be politically damaging to the opposition conservatives. Which, again, it makes no goddamn sense. So under Ontario's defamation law, the first step in a claim would require Dong to send a notice to the media outlet before filing a lawsuit seeking damages. Dong has yet to file that statement in court yet. However, but we do know that he is like lawyering up and getting ready to take action. He said he supports the Prime Minister's decision to appoint former Governor General David Johnston as a special rapporteur, but he did vote against the Liberals, saying that he wants a public inquiry into the matter. So I think actually very kind of like politically savvy of Han Dong here, because it does make him look like, hey, he wants a public inquiry so he can clear his name. The Liberals are distancing themselves from him, so he kind of has no choice but to stand alone. But he's also supporting their decision to appoint former Governor General David Johnston as the special rapporteur. So here's the statement. I don't know if the video here is going to give us anything.
Also been tracking developments on the case of Han Dong, the former Liberal, now independent MP, who issued a new statement today. What did he say?
Well, Omar Han Dong quit the Liberal caucus last week, as you know, to clear his name, he said, after a report emerged that he allegedly spoke to a Chinese diplomat at the consulate 2 years ago about delaying the release of Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig. The two Michaels were detained in China at the time. And today, in a statement, Han Dong, who is a Toronto area MP, said he took every available opportunity to advocate on behalf of the two Michaels.
Okay, we don't care about just tell us about the lawsuit.
And call for their immediate release. In that statement, he says he is taking legal action.
He looks so funny here.
Action against Global News that produced and published the report.
I'm so jealous of his hairline.
And its parent company, Chorus Entertainment, adding, I can look at myself in the mirror and know with full certainty that I have the truth on my side. My anonymous false accusers cannot say the same.
This is such a strong statement, honestly. Like, I don't think, if you were guilty of this, I do not think you would come out this strong to say that you have the truth on your side and you're taking legal action. Like, in my mind, like, I have no idea how this is going to end well for Global News. He does look good with the salt and pepper. Yeah, he's got the salt and pepper, Daddy Dong going on. So,
and Omar, this is a story we will continue to follow closely.
All right, Joyce, thank you. You'll be tracking that story.
Okay, so yeah, we're all kind
Breaking news from
excited about this. Goddamn autoplay. And we are all rooting for Han Dong, aka Daddy Dong. to fight Global News and these false accusations, and also fight for xenophobia, because he kind of is on the front lines of this now, and I genuinely believe, like, I don't understand how anyone could come out with these statements the way Han Dong has, so strongly in favor of him being innocent. So I honestly already feel like the writing is on the wall for Global News and Chorus Entertainment. I genuinely believe that they're screwed, and we're going to see some action against them. Dom Dong. Dom Dong from Dom Valley North. So they will get bought out. That would be sad. Maybe we should buy them. But like I said, they probably have libel insurance. So they're gonna be sadly they're well. I mean, I don't want them to like disappear. Really, having more diversity in Canadian media is a good thing. What I want to see is actually all, because the thing is, if this lawsuit goes through, every news outlet in Canada will basically have been put on notice. And they're all going to be like, oh, this is going to be a precedent setting case, right? Their stocks plummet. They're vulnerable. Do they have? I don't know if like media outlets have stocks. Do they? I guess they're probably a subsidiary of some country, right? God damn it. When you search global news stocks, they just show you the global stocks. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if. Oh, right. They're a subsidiary of Bell. So they probably do Bell stock price. Let's see. They're keeping steady. I'm praying I will get good returns. Oh, 11,000 in Shopify. Damn. That's a lot of money. Shopify is down though, are they not? It depends on when you invested. BCE and Rogers. Well, look at you investing in the Canadian tech market. We do have some people who are interested that in our community as well. I'm not like a stock guy or anything, but sometimes I think about it cuz like I'm already gaining the skills of like researching and looking at the newspaper every day. Like what if I just applied those skills to like researching businesses so I could invest in the stock market, you know? Sometimes I'm like I think about it, but I don't think, I don't know. It seems like too much stress. Like when if the stock market plummets, like I don't have enough money to be like gambling with it. It is Chorus Media. Right. So does Chorus Media stock. Oh yeah, they do have stock. Oof. Oof. Look at this. Actually, there is potentially a trend here. The thing is, it's hard to tell just from like one thing, but this is, look at over this even just 1 month. They're going down. This is like boom, they're down. Like you can see when did this whole kind of news start happening? You think this is the type of thing, sensationalized news, you think that would help them gain profit or gain value. That's why they have turned to sensationalism, or the turn to sensationalism has dipped them down into the drop here, right? Like I don't know. The thing is, you can't just take away. I'm not somebody who can interpret this for anyone. Like you would have to almost compare this to like CBC. Like you'd have to find other competitors of Chorus and see if those trends are the same, because it could have nothing to do with what we're talking about. It could just be a trend of like the market, the greater market. So it's impossible to say. I'm not the one. I'm not the one. I can't tell you that, Ribert. I don't know. Maybe Alyssa, who has $11,000 in Shopify, is a bit more savvy. Let's see what else we got to do today. Have we gotten through everything? Almost. Wait, what? Kush, what is that? That's a stock? It sounds fake. It's some French stock? Oh, it's like Dollarama, Metro, Canadian Tire, SNC Lavalin. Oh wait, no, those are related stocks. Oh wait, it's this company? The company that owns like Max? I thought you were here doing hate speech in chat, Alyssa. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Who are you calling a couche-tard? The retired journal who shared that link with me from Passage last week, they also told me about Chorus. True. All right, we got one more story for the day. Which is this weirdness. What is kush? Like, yeah, what is a coochie tart? A coochie tart. Coochie. What is couche meaning? Heavy cloth. No way. French to English. A layer. What? Stay up late. Is this true? Couche-tard means stay up late? Coucher. All right. It sounds horrible. In English, it doesn't translate well, I gotta say. All right, we got one last story of the day. Sleep late. Is that what it means? Probably a better... That makes sense, because like Max is open up late. Max Milk, it's usually like a 24-hour shop. and our perceptions. It's kind of all that matters is your interpretation of your own feelings. So why not just drink some water and you'll be able to deal with your own feelings a little easier. I feel like we're doing a fantastic job, stream. Thank you so much for sharing with us and hanging out with us. It feels really good to be organized. It feels like I'm not just flailing around, which is nice. It took me like several months, but I think I finally figured it out. It's actually good to have a plan. I'm looking forward to the warm weather because I only have like 5 sweaters. You might notice that I have the same like 5 sweaters on rotation. But I have so much more like summer clothing or like things that you can wear when it's not cold. So I can actually have more variety on stream. Which is nice, not just wearing the same 5 shirts. Yes, we're about to get the tree blossoms. Yo, RJ, what's up? We're just taking a little break here. We've been running through mad news articles. And I got one more story for the day. Unless we want to go super into culture war content. Just living the dream. Nice. Lucidly, we hope. I do like, I know it's like simulated nature, but I do enjoy these moments of on stream when we're just like basking in the glory of like traveling or nature. Like your mind isn't that smart, you know, you can trick it into feeling at peace in nature. That being said, I'm looking out the window and it's looking like a sunny day out there. So, we'll probably finish up stream with this last article. Later today at 4 o'clock, we're going to get a budget announcement from the federal government and Chrystia Freeland, the finance minister. One of the things that we are anticipating is this grocery rebate to lower income Canadians. Now, this is personally something that I don't like. Obviously, I want support for lower income Canadians, but there's been a trend as of late that is just like, hey, what if we just gave you your tax money back? And I don't want that. I want our tax money to go towards the things, the systems that will support lower income Canadians, that will help increase the social safety net and make it stronger. Giving people a one-time cash rebate, specifically for groceries, is not going to create that systemic change. And not only that, but a lot of the money, as it flows from our pockets to the government and then back into our pockets, gets lost. So it's really just a way to kind of lubricate these systems, and we're not really getting the full effect of our money, because somebody is taking a cut. I was gonna say, is that reworms? I didn't get it, Alyssa, but it's a rebate. I got it. Thank you now. Thank you. I appreciate that. The federal budget set for Tuesday will include a grocery rebate measure aimed at lower income Canadians to help address the affordability crisis, particularly to mitigate the rising cost of food, CBC has learned. So this is just an article from yesterday. And again, we're going to hear more about this probably later today, and then we'll have some analysis later on in the week. A senior government official familiar with the budget told CBC that the overall cost of the measure is north of $2 billion and will benefit 11 million households. So again, this is the frustrating part. Like, how much money is going to go out to individuals? It'll be like $200 maybe. But what you can't do anything with $200. We as individuals can barely do anything with $200. Maybe that's groceries for 2 weeks, depending on your household. That could just be 1 week for a family, maybe even less. And $2 billion. Think about what you can do with $2 billion. You can do a lot. You can transform entire government systems. And yeah, this is potentially money that is just like going also right back to the grocery oligarchs. It's being called a grocery rebate, said the source, but noted the rebate amount will not be based on a person's grocery expenditures, nor will the government require that the one-time payment be spent on groceries. But it's groceries. Everybody needs groceries. Of course it's going to get spent on groceries. There's what is this? There's no guarantee that the money will be spent on food. Yes, there is. Everybody needs food. This is so silly. Calling it a grocery rebate is just political posturing. Yes, but your econ brain likes, if people don't have enough money, give them money as a policy. Okay, yes, but why not make the systemic change that is going to help people to have more money, not just this month, but every month in the future? That is it's frustrating to me, because again, you can do so much with, I don't know, what are they saying here? Maybe $500, less than $500 for a family, for $234 for a couple with a single person with no children, and $225 for a senior citizen. Again, these are only for certain people, right? These will be specifically for low income people. It's not going to be for everyone. So again, it is frustrating. The timing of these payments will depend on how quickly the government can get the legislation to implement the budget passed. So we also don't even know what the timeline for this is. We know this is in the budget, which still means they're going to have to pass the legislation in order to actually use this money as it's allocated in the way that they want to. Has the government said who is eligible for the rebate and how to get it? Not yet, I don't think. We will probably hear more about it later today when they make the announcement. The federal budget will also increase, or actually it'll probably depend on the legislation that will have to get passed. Oh, it'll be a one-time top-up to the GST credit, right? I think that is true, actually. I read that earlier today. It will be facilitated through the GST credit aimed at lower income families. Yeah, so there you go. My bad. The federal budget will also increase the limit on what students can withdraw from their registered education savings plan, RSESPs, for the first semester of post-secondary education. So the reason they're doing this is because the cost of living is skyrocketing. And previously, people could only access $500,000. Sorry, $5,000. I wish you had $500,000 in a RESP for students, but I'm guessing that a lot of them don't. The cost of education is going up a lot though. $5,000 for the education assistant payment portion of the RESP, but now they're saying that they'll be able to access $8,000 because sadly students need that money. So, and there's other stuff we've already gone over today, including like investments into clean industrial economy, which also is potentially good stuff, but it is at the end of the day just handouts for corporations, you know. And unfortunately, when you give Canadians $500 in the framing of like, hey, are they going to spend this on food? They're probably going to spend it on food. If not that exact $500, another $500. And if it's in your bank account, it's all kind of the same money anyways. So I don't know. This to me just seems like the Liberals pretending to do something good about the affordability crisis. And they're going to be able to lean back on this every time the Conservatives say, hey, what is Justin Trudeau doing about inflation? What is Justin Trudeau doing about 25% of families having to line up at the food bank? What is Justin Trudeau doing about yada, 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 yada? That same kind of line that obviously it's not Justin Trudeau's fault, but they love to blame it on Justin Trudeau. Now they're going to be able to fall back on this and say, well, we gave $467 to a couple with 2 children so that they could buy groceries. One time. And funding for post-secondary colleges, universities is going down. That is another thing I read about today as well. You know, because China is not allowed to invest with their spies into our colleges and universities. We don't have any other way to fund colleges and universities. It turns out China was the main person educating all of Canada. The honest way to think, I am joking a little bit though. The honest way to think about it is as a tax break for low-income Canadians, which is about as good as neo-lib economic policy gets. Yeah, it's in the good but not good enough column. Okay, I trust your instincts, RJ. I just want more. I would prefer that money to be invested in like healthcare or education. You know, I feel like I just want systemic solutions to the affordability crisis. I don't want band-aids. And that's what we got. We got band-aids. We got band-aids for a gaping wound here. All right, y'all. I do have to go a little early today because I have a meeting this afternoon that I need to get ready for, and I need to organize all my content that we made today for the YouTubes, where I am quickly approaching 300 subscribers. It's crazy to me to think I got like 50 subscribers in the last month. So if you're new to the channel and you're watching and you're out there, you can follow me on YouTube. I post a video there every day based on the content that we make here on stream. Thank you so much, DNA Raid, for subscribing again today. Thank you everyone who donated on Ko-Fi. I appreciate you. I love you. I love doing this. It literally is the thing that just like gets me motivated and out of bed in the morning. It's like, well, we gotta do the show, you know? So Thank you so much. There's the crossword. Oh, crap. We got to do the crossword. All right. Last thing before we go. I always forget. I feel like it's like a running joke now. Is that a Darman emoji? Wait, no. It's Jagmeet Singh and Justin Trudeau combined into one human. No, it's not me. It's not me either. All right, forgot to do the crossword. I feel like this is the joke now. That we that chat has to remind me to do the crossword. I wish I was as handsome as Jagmeet and Justin combined, you know? That's a very handsome man right there. All right, we got the crossword for today, and then I do have to go. It's important that we finish the crossword every day. Boater and bowler. Boater or bowler. Purple Mavis says hat, because they do crosswords. Purple Mavis knows these tricks. Food truck offering, maybe. Superior beef grade. Thumbs up icon meaning. I feel like that might be the easiest one. Thumbs up icon meaning. Good? Cool? I think it's probably that last one you got, Antifer. Like, come on, thumbs up icon meaning. Obviously in real life, thumbs up means like good, but the icon means something different online, right? Puzzle doer, apparently. Let's see, one down. Writing form even more constrained than a tweet. Starts with a H. Come on, this is easy, right? Writing form even more constrained than a tweet. Purple Mavis is a puzzle doer. That is true. Haiku. You got it, Robert. Good job. Zenith. Zenith. That's hard, I think. Little Dipper? Question mark. Little Dipper? Or how about this one? The Powerpuff Girls, for example. Maybe this one. Toilet paper spec. Toilet paper spec. Like, how do you measure toilet paper? Ply. There you go. All right, so let's see. Food truck offering, maybe. Second letter is an A. Superior beef grade. For across, taco. Yes, like a taco truck. Puzzle doer. Zenith. AC blank E. Or Little Dipper. A puzzle doer apparently is you. That's right. 2 down is Acme. That's right. Zenith is like the highest point. You are a puzzle doer. Yes, you are. Powerpuff Girls, for example. Five across is prime, and that's to solve. All right, you got it. Good job, Purple Mavis. Which means Powerpuff Girls, for example, is a trio. And Little Dipper, question mark, was toe. I love that clue. Good job, team. Killing them with kindness. Jagstin all around. Get those neoliberal vibes. All right, thank you everyone. Really fun stream. This took us like exactly to 11 o'clock, so good job. We made it. You are getting better at them, Ribert. Good job. You know, most improved player for sure. Who are we rating? We gotta rate somebody. Body. Whoa. Easy there. Let's see. Maybe we can find somebody new to raid. Yo, Pixels, we're just about to raid somebody. You've made it just in time to be part of the raid. You're up late in Thailand. Isn't it like 11 o'clock p.m. there? Let's see. It's 10:01. Okay. Oh, right, because daylight savings. We changed our clocks here because we're weird like that. Let's see. Look at this person. Maybe.
What else we got?
Doing an anime tier list.
That's not where it's staying. I think Shield Hero was okay. I think the first season, I
don't know. We need more Canadian streamers, y'all. We got Nerd Ducky. We can raid Nerd Ducky. I like them. They're nice. Okay, see you everyone. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. I'll see you tomorrow in the AM, as we always do. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Drink water. Take your vitamins. Tell your loved ones that you love them. And I'll see you next time.
Sleeps on the couch. So Beanie threw him a birthday party on the weekend.